One of the most unique aspects or corners we have in the museum is about the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. It was based on a movie called A League of Their Own with Madonna and Gina Davis, Tom Hanks. A lot of people saw that, but that was a real league. It started during the Second World War. The owners wanted to get the ballparks full of people again, and so they brought in ladies to play. About 600 ladies played. The league lasted 10 years, from 43 to 54. So it wasn't just a drop in the chute. It landed for a while, and it lasted a decade. But 10% of that league were actually Canadian women. A lot of people don't know, and we inducted those ladies in 1998. But they ranged from, Saskatchewan and all the provinces, mostly from Saskatchewan, but also Ontario, and Quebec, and BC, and Alberta, and Saskatchewan. So it was quite a neat exhibit. The ladies were donated a lot of their artifacts and their uniforms to us, and it's just unique because people don't necessarily know that that the movie is based on a real league, and that 10% of the league were actually Canadian ladies that played in it. And they played everything. They played baseball. The difference was obviously, the difference was the power. They didn't have the running, the bunting, the hitting, the fielding. It's all the exact same game, and it was quite unique. That's probably the most unique and surprising display that people come upon and go, "Oh, I didn't know what it was." So that's probably number one. And the other ones, there's just a great mix. We have a Blue Jay Expo room, and obviously with the Blue Jays and Expos, baseball in Canada wouldn't nearly be what it is today. And so that room represents right back from opening day in '69 for the Expos, and in 1977 for the Blue Jays when it snowed. April 7, '77, it snowed, and we had the picture from the first pitch of that with the ball field covered in snow. And just typical Canadian, it snowed on the first Blue Jay game ever. One of the reasons the Hall of Fame is in St. Mary's is because it's the first recorded game in baseball, and it took place June 4th, 1838. So that's sort of the first beginnings. It's the first recorded game of baseball. It doesn't mean it's the first game of baseball. Baseball has been around forever, ever since you hit a ball with a bat or a stick. There's been different versions of it. Some people say it came from Europe. Some people say it came from here. There's no real beginnings of baseball. But the first recorded game of baseball took place June 4th, 1838 in Beachville, Ontario, which is just south of St. Mary's here. And there was a guy at the game named Adam Ford. Adam Ford was a young child when he saw the game, but later in life he wrote about what he remembered. And while he was doing that, he was the doctor here in St. Mary's, he was the mayor of St. Mary's, and he lived here in St. Mary's. So that's one of the historical ties to when baseball started in Canada and to why the Hall of Fame's here in St. Mary's. So basically 38 was the first sort of beginnings of baseball, the recorded beginnings of baseball. And then it went in, if you take George Sleeman in Guelph to the Woodstock Actives to the London Tecumsehs, you take those three cities, and that's basically where baseball really got its beginnings in the mid-1800s and late 1800s. London and Guelph had some of the best teams in the world, which back then didn't cover the world, of course, but they were competing with the top teams in New York and Michigan and stuff like that. So they were winning, they called the World Championships back then, top amateur baseball. And London has Labatt Park, of course, one of the nicest baseball parks you'll ever see. And right now, I think the Guinness Book of World Records for the oldest continuous used ballpark in the world. So it was a perfect spot how the Hall of Fame St. Mary's, because it's basically in the middle of, you take Guelph, Woodstock, and London, you look at those places, and we're just a bit north of all three. But baseball started there, and then it just took off. It just spread, east and west from those three cities and into the other provinces.